Brian Law is a train driver for Eurostar. He drives high-speed trains in England and in Europe. Brian works for 4 days a week. Sometimes he's free at the weekend, but usually he works on Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday are very busy days for Eurostar because everybody wants to go on holiday or go home for the weekend. Eurostar runs every day, but it doesn't run on Christmas Day. The first train to Paris leaves London at 5:25 in the morning, so Brian starts work at 4:30. In one day he does 2 or 3 journeys between London and Paris. He finishes work at 12 noon. Sometimes he starts late at 4 p.m. and works until 11:30 at night. Sometimes he doesn't go home at the end of the day. He stays in Paris. The journey. The journey takes 2 hours 15 minutes and the train travels at 300 kilometers an hour. It doesn't go so fast in the tunnel. It only goes at 160 kilometers an hour when it travels through the tunnel. It carries 794 passengers. When the train is in France, Brian speaks to his controllers in French. His French is very good. He has a lot of French friends and his son Toby goes to stay with them in Paris. Brian earns 45,000 a year. In his free time, he likes going out with his wife Angela and walking their dogs. Angela is a chef, so she works at weekends too. She has Monday free and goes walking with Brian. He has 25 days of holiday a year. Where does he go on holiday? France, of course, says Brian. So we have these questions in exercise 1, yeah? So we've got, they are actually statements. And we have to say whether these statements are false or true. So he works 5 days a week. Is it true? Yeah, he works 4 days a week. So we have a statement. He doesn't work 5 days a week. He works 4 days a week. In question 2, we've got sometimes he doesn't work at weekends. Is it true?
No. Sometimes he...
No, but it says, it's an example, it says it's correct. Yeah. He doesn't work at weekends. Sometimes he doesn't work at weekends. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes he doesn't work. This statement is true. Yeah. Eurostar trains run 365 days a year. Is it true?
False.
No. Why? Why is it false?
Because it doesn't run on Christmas Day.
Because it doesn't run on Christmas Day, so it makes it 364 days a week. The first train to Paris leaves before 5 a.m.
No.
It's false. It's not true because the first train leaves London at 5:25. Very good. He does several journeys every day. True. Several means a couple, a few. Yeah. Kilka. Brian starts work very early every day. So you say true, she says false. I think it's false, but why now?
Because he sometimes starts late at 4 p.m.
Yes, sometimes he starts late. Sometimes he starts early, and sometimes he starts late. Yeah, so this statement 6 is not true. Brian starts work work very early every day is not true. So how would we correct this? So we would say Brian doesn't start work very early every day. He starts very early on some days, and on other days he starts late. 7. He always goes home in the evening. So Brian doesn't go home Brian doesn't always go home in the evening. He's so
He finishes work sometimes at 12.
he sometimes finishes work at 12 in at noon. Brian speaks good French. Yeah, it's true. He speaks very good French. He doesn't earn very much. It's false. So Brian does earn very much, or actually we could say Brian earns
He earns
very much. Because 45,000, what do you think? Is it a lot?
That's good.
It's quite a good wage. And he goes to France on holiday.
It's true.
It's true. So in number 3 we had Eurostar trains run 365 days a year. So what would you say to correct this sentence? You would say once again, Eurostar
Eurostar train
doesn't
doesn't run.
run 364 days. It runs 364 days because it doesn't run on Christmas. And the first train to Paris leaves before 5 a.m. How would you correct this statement?
So first train to Paris
Doesn't leave before 5 a.m. It leaves after.
25 past 5.
Yeah, after.